Sierra Leone is nearing the end of a month-long fishing ban aimed at replenishing stocks, but the impact has been limited by the short time span and the financial power of foreign firms.
An opportunity for local fishermen to replenish their stocks. Sierra Leone is nearing the end of a one-month ban on industrial fishing. Imposed by the government at the start of April, the ban was aimed at giving local fishermen the chance to boost their catches. They blame industrial boats, mostly owned by Chinese and other foreign operators, for disrupting fish stocks, damaging their nets and reducing their catch.
Here is strictly for the IEZ. This is the breeding zone. We don't allow any vessel to go there. So when they stop those guys, they give us chance, because now if you want the catch, it's different from the time they fly out there. So now when they stop them, we have opportunity to access the fish.
West Africa is battling an overfishing crisis, with foreign companies pouring into the region to meet increasing demand for fish meal and tropical fish. Advocacy group Greenpeace estimates illegal fishing costs West African governments more than $2 billion per year. And while it welcomed the ban, it said authorities needed to do more.
It's not enough, because we know that the measures that underpin a biological resting period go way beyond a simple one-month halt of activities, and that these measures need to be based on a biological rest, on the migration of the species, on fishing forts, etc.
At Tombu Harbour, home to Sierra Leone's largest fishing community, locals said it was difficult to tell whether fish stocks were recovering. Fishermen and harbour management staff said big trawling firms had responded to the ban by turning to lending schemes, giving local fishermen loans towards nets and other equipment in exchange for the entire catch. The ban required fish to be sold exclusively on local markets, but with the financial muscle on foreign companies, it appears to be doing little to shield local fishermen from outside competition.
Morocco is on a de-radicalization mission. It set up a special school to train Muslim men and women across Africa to practice moderate Islam. Last month, during a visit to the country by Pope Francis, the country's King Mohammed VI said education is the only way of getting rid of extremism.
These women are undergoing religious training at a Moroccan Muslim institute. Hailing from across the African continent, they're part of a group eager to spread teachings about moderate Islam. Each year, 100 women are admitted to study for up to 3 years at the Mohammed VI Institute in Rabat. 30-year-old Naminata Koulibaly from Ivory Coast is one of the students.
When I go back to my country, I will find some children and women who did not go to school and don't know a lot about religion. We came here to study and learn. When we return, we will be very useful to them, and we will teach them what the fundamentals of this religion are. We will show them how to behave with others and not to be extremists. We will show them how to be moderate in religion.
Unlike other parts of the region, Morocco, which is almost 100% Muslim, has been largely insulated from militant attacks. Marketing itself as an oasis of religious tolerance, it's invited male and female preachers of Islam from across Africa and Europe to study a curriculum based on moderate Islamic studies, including teachings around philosophy, sexual education and mental health. Run by Morocco's Religious Affairs Ministry, the institute gives pupils free accommodation, plane tickets and health insurance, as well as a stipend of around $200 per month. Most of the students at the school come from Mali, Senegal, Nigeria, Guinea, Gambia and Chad, where Al-Qaeda and Islamic State or affiliated militant groups are active.
Crops suspended in the air and fed with mist. Could aeroponics be the future of food in Nigeria's city centres? A Nigeria farmer is exploring those new possibilities.
You might notice something slightly unusual about these yam crops. There's no soil and no water. Instead, the crops are fed using a nutrient-rich mist.
These are the roots produced on the aeroponic system, and growth is going to continue in this place.
This aeroponic farm in Ogun has been set up by Samson Obole. As it's indoors and needs no soil, it's an efficient way of farming in the city.
As you realize that there is a mass exodus of people from villages to the urban center. So we need to be able to also ensure that food production can also occur in urban center.
The farm runs a 24-hour light and water system to maintain the mist. Each table can hold up to 121 plants, and the yield is far greater than traditional methods. But aeroponics is expensive, at least to start with. This setup cost $183,000. Although Samson says in the end he earns more, and it's better for the environment.
The running cost is way cheaper than running soil-based farming. Take, for instance, in soilless farming, you don't have to worry about weeding, you don't have to worry about use of herbicide, fungicide, and all of that, no insecticide usage. Much more than that, you have fewer people working on your farm compared to soil-based farming.
Indoor aeroponic farms like this could be key in Nigeria, where land and water is becoming more scarce. Being able to produce food in the city helps feed Africa's largest population and makes it less vulnerable to the effects of climate change.
Startups are beating the odds in Senegal, which is hoping to become a leading regional tech hub. This despite having the lowest number of tech hubs compared to other African countries. Senegal still has some promising business startups, and they each come with their own fair share of challenges.
Senegal is making moves that it hopes will transform it into a regional tech hub, and some of its startups are beginning to take off. Based on World Bank figures, the Africa Technology Business Network has mapped the number of tech hubs in Africa and suggests that the number of active ones on the continent have grown by 50% since 2016. Senegal came in last, with 12 compared to more than 50 each in South Africa and Nigeria and more than 30 each in Kenya and Egypt. But in West Africa's Francophone region, Senegal is on top. One of the shining stars in Senegal's startup business is PAPS, a mobile application offering a convenience pickup delivery service for anything from the day's fresh fish straight from the fisherman's market to furniture and printers. It's been very successful, but its founder says although determination is the essential ingredient to a blossoming business, he admits lack of available funding for companies starting up in Africa can be a major obstacle.
Starting a startup is difficult everywhere. It's no more difficult than anywhere else. The difference may be that the support and the subsidies that exist elsewhere do not necessarily exist here.
The World Bank Enterprise Survey says more than 40% of entrepreneurs cite access to finance as the major factor limiting their growth. They conclude that a new class of financial instruments must emerge to provide the funds these early-stage businesses need.
It's time to now take a look at what's trending on social media across the continent. Twitterverse is mourning the death of film director John Singleton. He's best known for directing the 1991 movie Boys in the Hood at age 22 and fresh out of college. Now, Singleton died on Monday at age 51. His family finally made the decision to remove him from life support in Los Angeles. He'd been in an induced coma for weeks after suffering a stroke. There's been mixed reaction on social media after a Somali-American supermodel became the first Muslim model to appear in Sports Illustrated wearing a burkini. Halima Aden grew up in a Kenyan refugee camp and moved to the US at the age of 7. She's featured in Sports Illustrated's annual swimsuit issue in the swimwear, which covers the entire body except the face, hands and feet. While some have called the debut history in the making, others aren't too impressed. But the model says she's honored that the sports magazine has taken the step to showcase the beauty of modestly dressed women. Fans of the much-anticipated movie Avengers Endgame shared great reviews on social media. That's following its release in the country last week. And the film's box office records do prove it. The Marvel comic-based movie has already made a whopping $350 million in North America and $1.2 billion worldwide. The film is obviously a major hit. That's if searches for clues in the film, critiques or just tweets on the movie are anything to go by. And that was this week's edition of #Africa. Until next time, from myself, Ropiwa Madzena, and the team, take care.